This is to show you how you do on-screen voice and audio together. Because I know it doesn't work if you just use a microphone to do a voiceover, if you do a tutorial on screen, like a screencast. And I have two different issues here. I have Logic, which I'm trying to show some tutorial, which also plays some music, some tracks. And I have YouTube, where I have something to play music as well.
Chord.
And it's pretty much the same, even if I go to application like iTunes, when I want to play some music while I'm actually tutoring on screen. And I still want to have a voiceover, so I'm playing some stuff from iTunes here. And I want to maintain, what I'm trying to do is to maintain the sound quality on stuff I'm playing directly from my Mac, but still being able to use my voiceover without having feedback from my Mac speakers into the microphone. So I want to have a clear sound, which I show you in the tutorial. So I'm closing iTunes here. To set that up, I connected a microphone through a M audio fast track USB audio interface to my Mac, to basically have a microphone input to my Mac instead of using the inbuilt microphone, which I tried out, but it didn't really sound that great. So what I'm using now is basically a normal microphone connected through a USB interface, and then at the same time I want to play some music in my Logic and from anywhere else from the Mac. So what I first have to do, I have to go to my audio and MIDI interface, which I have down here. So what I did already, I did aggregate device. So you do that by clicking on plus, create aggregate device, and then you select the input source for your voice, which in my case it's the fast track, and you click on Soundflower, which you already had to install beforehand. So these two become the screencast voice and audio interface, which I renamed now screencast voice and audio. So that's basically what you have to do on the audio device setup. So that creates a new source for your audio. On top of that, you have to go to settings, sound, and within that you have to select now the device for sound input, which is here on input, which is now my new screencast voice and audio mix, which is an aggregate device, and you see the input levels here when I speak, and the same you basically see here when I click on audio. You have to make sure you see the input level on your audio, but as well the same goes for anything which is played on my Mac. We can clearly see the input level.
Now that it's plugged in, we should get an option on.
Okay. So on my input, I choose my screencast voice and audio. On the output, I have to choose Soundflower, 2 channels. So whatever is played now in the computer is routed to the Soundflower 2 channel output. If you don't select this, it won't work. And then I have to configure my Soundflower, which you can start if you go to your spot search, and you key in Soundflower. It will show up in your menu bar here. Clicking on it, you have to select built-in output. So basically what it does, it routes any sound from any software which you have on your computer to Soundflower 2-channel, and from there you route it back to the built-in output. So instead of directly going to the output, it goes through this Soundflower device. So if you play anything now
on the screen,
it basically goes on to Soundflower, and then from Soundflower it goes into built-in output. So the special case now in Logic, and that's the trick here, Logic has its own setting for input and output for your audio, not really taking the default unless you have chosen to go by default, but you have to set it in preferences audio. Your output device has to be Soundflower again, so same as we have over here on the whatever it's played on, either it's Safari or iTunes or any other application which doesn't have its own audio control, but Logic has its own audio preferences. So here you have to set up the output device to Soundflower and your input device to whatever input gadgets you have. I'm using Fast Track here as well to connect voice and guitar. So basically, when he has done that and you play, it will route it to the 2-channel Soundflower, and from there it goes on to the built-in output. So let's listen to that now.